Okay, we're back with another candidate interview. We've got Mike Moeller here with us now. Thanks for coming, Mike.
You bet. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome.
So, first question's the obvious one. Tell us who you are and why you decided to take a second run for the school.
Third
Third
run
run. My
for the
apologies.
school board.
Third run. You are really in there.
um, well, I grew up in Clear Lake. I graduated in 1998 from Clear Lake High School, and my dad was from Clear Lake. My grandpa was from Clear Lake, so I have a long history here, and I believe both my grandpa and my dad were on the school board as well, and going back years ago. And it's just something that it's always stuck with me. And I care deeply about my own kids' education, but also the education of all the kids in the district in our town. I have a lot of hometown pride in me, and I want nothing but the best for our families and kids and parents. So to me, it was just a natural fit to want to pursue this avenue of giving back and being part of the community and in a way that hopefully I can make a positive impact. And uh, the reality is, you just want to do the best for our community, and so this is a way I think I can do that, or I can at least contribute to that, and I'd just be honored to be able to continue doing that. And so, um, there isn't any one issue I that I'm pounding the drum on. I think you have to take it kind of as it comes and try to make the best decisions for our kids.
So, you've been involved with the school board now, 2 terms, going for 3. What other activities have you been involved with the school?
With the school,
Yeah, I know being a board member is a full-time job in
right?
itself, but yeah.
Just helping out with various items. I don't think I have an official title of doing anything,
Yeah.
but just helping out with just different activities for kids, and just contributing in a way that can be a support to the people and parents and kids. So, and then just obviously being part of the school board, that in and of itself has been quite a task, and especially going back this last full term, we had some interesting things going on, like the pandemic and all that kind of stuff, and trying to navigate the school through those times was certainly a challenging thing, and because you're trying to balance a whole lot of different interests and what people think should happen, and so that certainly was an eye-opening experience and something that I don't think a whole lot of people had experience doing. So, but I think we managed it. We kind of came out on the other end, and I think we are stronger for it. So.
We've got a pandemic question.
Yeah, we do. Some of the Clear Lake results have come in regarding how our school is performing, and we've gotten commendable results in a lot of different areas. But some of those earlier years, I have a son who's in 4th grade. He was in kindergarten when the pandemic hit. Maybe some gaps in terms of reading. What are your thoughts and ideas on how to maybe close some of those gaps and make sure that those kids are ready as they move up the ranks in the school system?
Sure, and I think that's a very important. I mean, reading is the foundation of a lot of education, probably most of it, probably one of the most important things there is, and I think we just need to put the supports in place. I know as part of our response, we got some additional monies from the federal government in response to the pandemic, and we invested a lot of those monies into interventionalists and reading interventionalists, and so. Which are, if you don't know what that is, that's people that come into the classroom and take students to help work on students that maybe they're seeing some gaps, like you point out, to help fill those gaps and to get them back up to grade level or exceeding that. And so I think we need to lean on those people. We need to get as many supports as we can. I mean, obviously, as a board member, we want to give as many resources as possible to kids, but at the same time, we have a budget that we have to stay in and manage from preschool to 12th grade, and so we try to do our best, and I'll continue trying to push for more resources for kids, and I know class size is always a big hot button topic every year, and I think we need to probably have a better handle of how we manage those class sizes. But obviously, the lowering the number of kids per class is ideal. Um, I think overall, if you compare us to a lot of other school districts of like size, we're pretty darn competitive with that. But again, I mean, it's not only the teachers and the number of teachers we have, and the number of kids in each class, but some of those other supports we can bring into the class, like the interventionalists, that can help bridge some of those gaps. I think go a long way.
And there's some decisions around keeping the interventionalists moving forward.
What's that?
The interventionists they're continuing on with the interventionists, for the foreseeable future, right? That was a decision that was made.
Right, exactly. And one of the things that kind of got broke up with some of the funding structures of the state were the instructional coaches for the teachers, and we kind of reassigned them within the district, so we didn't lose anybody. They kind of wear a different hat now, but that had more to do with funding resources through the state. But yeah, we've intentionally want to keep those interventionalists in place for the reasons you bring up, Stacy.
You mentioned class size and funding and reading scores. What other issues are there that, as a school board member, you're aware of either locally or at the state level that concern you?
It'll be, I don't know if concern's the right word, but it'll be interesting to see what the ESAs do, the voucher system, how that impacts the public schools. I'm not saying it's a good thing, bad thing, but it drives competition, and we'll see how that impacts our public school locally. I think it's going to have a bigger effect down in Polk County and down in Des Moines area, but like like anything, we're competing, and parents are wanting to send their kids to where they think they're going to get the best possible education. I think that's Clear Lake, and we need to do what we can to continue building trust with the parents, with the community, and with our kids. So it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. It's a little early at this point. I think it's year one of that phase-in system of the vouchers, and so how that plays out will be interesting. Second, it's a nationwide shortage of educators coming out of colleges, and people jumping ship from education and going to other fields. And so I think we need to do all we can to make Clear Lake an attractive place. I think we're a little more fortunate than a lot of schools where we've got a pretty great town here, and I think a lot of people want to be in Clear Lake as far as small communities are concerned. And so I think we just need to keep doing what we can to recruit the best people here, looking at pay and benefits and those type of things, and just creating a welcoming environment. And the not only with teachers but with para-educators, because with the para-educators you get I mean that's kind of a thankless job. They're dealing with our most high need students. They're resources in the classroom, and they get stretched pretty thin, and then it's hard to keep them in place because it is such a tough position, and it's not the best pay and all that kind of stuff. They don't do it for the pay. They do it because they love being around kiddos, and they care about our schools. But we need to continue pounding that drum and trying to get the pay up for them, so we can retain the ones we have and maybe recruit others, because I know that's an area where we are short in. So that'll be a big thing we really need to address this next year. So
one other state issue that we've asked each of the candidates to respond to besides the ESAs is Senate File 496 and the conversation about appropriateness of reading material, books.
Sure.
Kids. What conversations have you had, or where do you come down on that?
I don't know how big of an issue it is in Clear Lake. I think it adds a layer to the staff on trying to sift through those books, the ones that are deemed inappropriate. But at the same token, I completely get the concern of parents with some of the material. I'm not into burning books and those type of things, but at the same token, I think we got to look at who our audience is. We've got kindergarten through 12th grade, and we've got an elementary library, we've got a middle school library, we've got a high school library. What's appropriate in the elementary school or what's appropriate in the high school may not be appropriate in the elementary school. And again, I think what got highlighted, or at least on a national level, during the pandemic, where I think with all the kids doing school from home, it kind of opened up things that parents are seeing, and right, wrong, or indifferent, I think parents want to have more of a voice in their kids' education. You're seeing parents get more involved in trying to, or with decisions, and again, more on a national scale, but even here locally, I think, and it kind of ties in hand with the ESAs, where we are competing with private schools, and we need to instill trust with parents. And you know, I'm not too worked up about that, because I don't think from a day-to-day perspective, whether there's 5 books that get tossed to the side or not, I don't think that's going to have an impact on the learning environment for the kids. Whether it makes a parent more comfortable or not, that's to be determined. Um, but again, it goes to building trust with the community. So,
Well, thinking now your role as a school board member, and you've been in it a while, one of the other important responsibilities is overseeing educational achievement, working on policies that support that. You mentioned some challenges financially and fiduciary responsibilities, is evaluating the superintendent.
right.
Yeah. So what are the characteristics of the superintendent that you think are most important that leads to the success of a district?
Well, there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, you wave a magic wand and you hope a superintendent has all those qualities. But everybody has their weaknesses and their strengths, and I think some of the main things: you need to be a leader. Um, you need to get buy-in from your staff, and lead in a way that is, you don't always have to be their friend, but to lead in a way where they respect you. And I think that's a huge number one component. Number two, as you kind of alluded to, the finances are such an important part of what the superintendent does, and the direction and oversight of what we do as a school district as a whole. And so having a strong grasp of the budget and how to forecast, and have a vision of where you want to go with the district, I think are all very important. Because if you start going sideways with your budget, the next thing you're looking at in a few years are teacher cuts, and you don't want to do that. So whatever you can do to set the district up financially, to put not only the district in a strong position, but our students in a strong position, is vital.
And kind of thinking about Clear Lake as a whole, people think we're a very affluent community with very few problems, but Clear Lake has its own set of societal issues as well. What is the school's role in, say, hunger, mental illness, providing those types of supports to the student body?
That's a good question, Stacy. I think again, it's just a lot of it is directing, putting people in the right places, and making sure families know the resources that are available. And we have over the course of the last couple of years, we kind of started with a part-time social worker, now a full-time social worker with the school, along with, we have some kind of liaisons with kind of at-need families with the school district. And so I think it's important to point families in the right direction for the resources that are available. You also touched on mental health. I think that's the million-dollar question. Unfortunately, there's a huge spike in mental health with our young kids, and uh, how do we address that? I think social media is probably a huge driving factor in that. I think there's um, a whole lot of societal issues, the home issues, things that are continually being exacerbated and over the years. And I think it's a hard thing to figure out, and I don't think there is any magic um, to figure it all out at once. I mean, I think you just do rely on professionals, rely on what they recommend on how to address a lot of those issues, and make sure we can put get, put those resources in place for the kids.
We're running short on time, but you have a workforce question
Yeah.
too that's relevant, I think.
Yeah, and you've touched on some of the accomplishments, and kind of looking forward though, we've done a lot of great work on workforce readiness, on apprenticeship programs, on expanding the type of opportunities into STEM and different things. What are some ideas that you have to continue to build on the success that we've had in getting our kids ready for the workforce?
Um, like you mentioned, I think we have to have good partnerships with the private sector and the business community. I think they go hand in hand. I think we rely on them, they rely on us, and we need to provide um, a workforce for the companies in our area. And what can we do to keep kids here, make sure they're career ready, make sure they're going to be contributing members of our community, and hopefully they want to either leave and come back, or stay here forever. But um, uh, I like you touched on. I think we can't always be focused on a university setting or a four-year college setting. We got to have programs in place um, that line up with whatever that kid's interest is, whether that's the trades, whether that's apprenticeship programs, whether that's going to NIAC, whether that's the military. We just need to make sure we identify kids' interests as early as possible so we can kind of help them put them on the right track. And like me, I didn't know what the heck I wanted to do coming out of high school, but just making sure we have well-rounded kids that come out of school and giving them those options to build up their confidence and their skills while they're at Clear Lake. And I think we've partnered with NIAC quite a bit over the years, and I know there's a lot of kids that are coming out of our schools with their AA degrees, and or having their welding certificates or their CNA certificates, and so I think that helps them get a step up. So I think there are a lot of opportunities available for kids, so long as they're willing to kind of pursue those. I also think adding our ag program has been huge, and FFA, because whether you're going to go into a career in agriculture or not, that program offers a whole lot of good and learning opportunities for kids with public speaking, with working as a team, with learning how to do a lot of different things, kind of the business side of things with the ag industry. And so I think it's a tremendous program. I'm so proud that we've been able to add that to Clear Lake.
Huge asset.
Yes, yes.
Huge asset.
And the only one in Saragota County,
Yeah,
I might add.
yeah. Speaking of building trust and
Right.
competition.
Right.
So, two final questions. One is, we've heard your passion for Clear Lake and the fact you raise your family here. And what specific skills do you bring to the board table
Well,
that help to contribute to the board's success?
I don't like talking about myself that much, Troyce.
This is your chance, Mike.
I obviously am a lawyer. I got a legal background. I believe I'm discerning in my decision making. I look into things. I look into issues to determine what's best. A lot of times, from the outside looking in, parents or faculty or whoever may not think that the board's doing anything, but the fact is sometimes things happen privately because it doesn't do anybody any good voicing things out in the public uh, square. But you know, it's just important to continue building that trust. I think I can offer a rational, level-headed view and decision making for the district moving forward. And I think that's what I can bring, and what I think I've done, and what I hope to continue to do if I have that privilege. So,
Finally, is there a question we should have asked you that we didn't, or something you hoped we would have asked you?
I think you did pretty well, Troyce. I'm just, like I said, I care about this community. I hope I've earned the community's trust, and I would be honored to have the privilege to serve our community for another 4 years. So
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Appreciate the time. I know everybody's got busy schedules, so have a lovely weekend.
Yeah, you too. And hopefully this provides you guys some more information in regard to our candidates, and please make plans to vote. It's very important.